We've got some fantastic companies for you to hear from in this session. These guys are all building e-commerce solutions to a problem. That's why we call this What's Your Problem? Because these guys are solving a problem, either from a retail or technology perspective. So we thought it was a great way to showcase some of our really innovative young companies here in Boston. As I had mentioned at the beginning of the day, we have a very exciting e-commerce sector here in the Boston area, and a lot of talent and a lot of people who have some great ideas that they're turning into big businesses. So we are very fortunate to have our friend Kyle Alspach here from the Boston Business Journal. He is the innovation and technology lead reporter and has been doing a phenomenal job covering the Boston market and all the exciting stuff that's going on here. So we're really excited to have Kyle join us, and I'll let him take over the panel from here. Okay? Thanks.
Thanks, Debbie.
Hey.
So I'm just going to introduce the panelists first off, and then I'm going to let them describe what their company does. So first we have Justin Robinson. He's the co-founder of Drizly. Lauren Nagel, the VP of Marketing at Kitsy Lane. James Keller, the CEO at V24. And Jill Kravetz, who's the co-founder and CEO at Gloss 48. So I just thought, I'd like to have each of you, I guess, just briefly describe what your company does and how you got started. So you can just go down the line. Start with Jill, how about?
Okay, can you hear me? Hi, I'm Jill Kravetz, and I founded Gloss 48. Gloss 48 is a company that connects beauty junkies, affectionately named beauty junkies, with niche beauty brands. So we allow beauty junkies to discover the coolest, most interesting, newest, tiny little beauty companies that you would never have heard of. And sort of just a little bit about the beauty market. It's for any of the non-beauty people in here, it's sort of like the craft beer market. So if you think about beauty, it's a massive, massive market, $400 billion market, which is largely dominated by these huge companies, similar to the beer market. And at the bottom end of the market, which is where we're going after, about 40% of it is these kind of tiny little companies who tend to be sort of makeup artists or hairdressers or just sole proprietors who have started their own business, and they've spent all their money on kind of developing their product, and they need a way to get it out there online. And so we are sort of taking their products, putting it online, and connecting them with a huge membership of beauty junkies who are sick and tired of Estee Lauder and Sephora.
All right, hey guys, Jim Keller, the CEO of V24. And what we do is we have a solution that allows brands to engage directly with their customers over the web with voice, video, text, and co-browsing. So very much like the Amazon Mayday button. And the company was actually founded in Europe. We've just brought the headquarters over to the States. I joined in August of this year. The company was founded by a couple of serial entrepreneurs in the UK who previously, had a couple of great successes in the marketing automation space, and the company actually got started out of some conversations they were having with Lexus about some of the challenges that they were having in online conversion for lead gen on the Lexus website, and Lexus was our first customer. We had tremendous success there. We literally doubled their conversion for lead gen on the Lexus site in Europe, and we've gone on. We've been very fortunate. We have some fantastic customers, some of the larger e-tailers in Europe. You can go to the Audi or Land Rover sites, and now with Land Rover we've just expanded to about 6 countries and engage directly with an agent to configure your car. L'Oreal, you can go and engage with a dermatologist and talk about your skincare needs and some of their new beauty lines. We're live with a handful of footwear retailers, and so up to about 50 clients now. Very direct, very powerful impact on e-commerce, key e-commerce benchmarks like conversion, average order value, customer satisfaction, and hopefully we'll get to talk about some of that during the session.
Hello, is this mine on? Can you guys hear me? Is that working? Oh, okay. No, it is on. Hi. Okay, so I'm Lauren Nagel. I'm the VP of Marketing at Kitsy Lane. Kitsy Lane is on a mission to completely revolutionize direct selling. So direct selling, not everybody is familiar with the term direct selling, but it's typically the Avons, the Mary Kays, the Stella and Dots of the world, where you have a rep who sells you products on behalf of a company and is able to build their own business out from there. So what Kitsy Lane is really doing is sort of marrying technology and this direct selling that goes on sort of on the ground floor and that is typically hyper-local. And we're out to sort of break down the geographic barriers of these hyper-local businesses. So typically if you were, say for instance an Avon rep, you would have a business network of customers in your particular geographic location. But with Kitsy Lane, you can actually go online, set up a boutique, stock your shelves with our merchandise, which is for the most part vertically integrated. And then you can market to your friends. So we have an e-commerce experience, and then we have a direct selling experience where you can literally hold parties online. That's in beta right now.
Cool. Can I borrow that? Awesome. I'm Justin with Drizly. So we are a beer, wine, and liquor delivery application, soon-to-be website, soon-to-be Android app. So we allow users to place orders for beer, wine, and liquor that get sent to their local liquor store, and they deliver to them, and we try to do it in under 30 minutes. So it's all kind of powered by, drivers have their own applications. We interface with the store's point-of-sale system to pick up their inventory in real time and display that to our users, who then are able to essentially browse a menu of beer, wine, and liquor, place an order, and boom, it's there in 30 minutes. So that's Drizly.
Great. So, obviously all startups here, at different stages perhaps. But, one of the things that obviously all of you have encountered at some point is technical challenges in getting your idea into, something that actually works. So I was wondering if each of you could say just a little bit about how you figured out what you even needed. Like when you had the idea for your startup, how did you figure out, how many people you would need or what kinds of things were even important technically for you, and what did you do that allowed you to get past those initial technical hurdles? So anyone can start really.
Is this working? On and off, right? Okay, there we go. Yeah, so technical hurdles for us are still massive. I just reached out to one of my friends who's a computer science major at BC, which is where we started this thing. And I said, hey, we have this ridiculous idea. We're not sure if it's legal yet, but can you build us a prototype and let's see if we can make it work? And he did that, and it turned out to be legal and everything was fine. And from there, our biggest technical challenge right now, and as still a small company, what we are trying to figure out is how to turn these unsophisticated, antiquated local liquor stores into mini distribution centers to be pumping out beer, wine, and liquor in 30 minutes, which is an incredible problem to try to solve, and that's what we're working on right now. So how did we get over the first hurdle? Called up a buddy and sold him on the dream. So that was us.
So I wasn't at the company when it first got started. I was hired on a little under a year ago. But I have been at the company when we have faced a number of technological hurdles. We want to launch a product, a new software offering, and we have to kind of assess I think the best way to do it is to assess what is the mission, what are you really trying, what's the objective that you're trying to accomplish, how is it going to serve your customers, and then what is the core functionality that needs to be there first, get people using it, get their feedback, and then figure out what the additional features you need to build on are. I've been doing add-ons. I haven't had to start it from the ground up, so I don't know if you guys can speak to that a little more.
Sure. So V24 was founded by a group of people that are just truly passionate about customer experience, I think, and a great understanding of the challenges that face online retailers and online brands, particularly in the area of conversion, and a lot around the idea that these days, I really feel like we've just eked out, basically every trick in the book in terms of optimizing online conversion, from landing page optimizations to behavioral targeting and, to recommendation engines and on and on. And, I think that for us, the big piece of the equation that was missing is, all the things that great retailers have built their success on for generation in terms of knowing how to sell. And so for us, it was all about how do you bring that experience onto the web. And it's a very hard problem in technical terms. So you need to be able to handle any session that comes in, regardless of the device, regardless, are they on iOS? Are they on a Droid? Are they on a desktop? And not only what device, what browser are they in, and there's no convergence in technology standards. It has to be 100% seamless experience. It has to be one click, no download. You're in, looking live at the agent. You're talking to them. Has to be super high quality video for the brands that we're working with. And so the company really focused on nothing but product for the first couple of years. And and we were in a fortunate place in being able to do that. And we were also very fortunate in during that time, with really no sales and marketing, a number of world-class brands, approached us and became customers. And those are companies like Vodafone, Audi, Land Rover, L'Oreal, et cetera. Every single one came inbound over our website. And to us, that was great. It really spoke to the need in the marketplace for this type of experience, and to the understanding that a lot of retailers have about how this type of one-on-one engagement and the ability to guide the customer through the shopping experience all the way from the time they come in the door all the way through checkout, helping them fill out forms, able to push any kind of rich media to them, can really make a difference. And so we did have a little bit of the luxury to spend that time focused on the product, and at the same time to have the chance to work with some really great companies in in refining it and bringing it to market. So, and we just closed our first funding round, just about 6 months ago, and building up the team here, and very excited about going after the U.S. marketplace now.
Okay, so we are nowhere as sophisticated as this guy, but seriously. So, we launched at the end of October, and we've been at it for a couple years before that, and my co-founder and I are not really technology people. I founded a chain of nail salons, and we're just kind of traditional business people, and we went around shopping for a tech co-founder because we were told we needed a tech co-founder, which we probably did. Anyways, we went around shopping for this tech co-founder, and honestly, that was the process through which we figured out what we needed and what we didn't need in terms of the sort of initial product. And so we interviewed a bunch of different, sort of CTO types, and got a lot of, okay, to sell beauty products online, you absolutely have to have like a way to upload your photo and stick lipstick on and stick eyeshadow on, and the user has to be able to do all these whiz bang things. And so we said, you know what, I'm not sure I would ever do that. And the tools I've seen online for doing that put the lipstick like on your forehead. And so we did some research, and we just kind of interviewed a bunch of people and tried to understand sort of what they would do and whether these kinds of features made sense. And it turned out for the initial product that the sort of that particular feature of just being able to upload like a bad photo from your iPhone and sticking lipstick on was not really going to help sell product, and was not really going to drive engagement with our site. So we kind of just took it back down to brass tacks and thought about, we started with, okay, what is our strategy and sort of where do we need to get to for our next milestone? And for us, that's driving membership. And so what is going to drive membership? And I think, every day, just like you guys, the technology is immense, and the challenges are immense, and working with developers, it's tough. It's tough, but you have to figure out a way to prioritize. And I think really figuring out sort of what is that 1 or 2 or 3 metrics that you need to hit, and then what technology feature or initiative is going to help you drive that metric. That's the way you got to prioritize, because otherwise you will be running around doing bug fixes. I literally have a list of like 100 bug fixes that we're working on, but really 2 are burning, 2 are really critical. And so that's sort of how we work and prioritize things.
Yeah, and just to add to that, maybe if the mic, okay. It's completely a matter of like what your resources are, and then like what kind of product you're trying to build. But in the same light, like there was a million features that we could have built out in this thing, right? But it was so bare bones, just like allow people to buy alcohol like via an app, like just a list. And if anybody used our first version of our app, it was like ridiculous, but it worked, and we hit those metrics like you said, and that's what it is. You put those goals in front of you and figure out the basic techniques to get there, and that's kind of how to do it.
Great. Yeah, Justin and Jill, you both started answering the next question, which was just, how have you refined things since you started out, and how did you know that you needed to refine them? And so you both have sort of answered that already, but maybe James or Lauren could help answer that.
So we actually have, I guess I'll use a specific. So in order to, I talked about direct selling and about how it's hyper-local typically. The product that we're rolling out that really solves this issue of, okay, I have this boutique online and I can do all of this marketing that's kind of umbrella and not, super hyper-personalized. How do I really get my face and my persona and my sort of selling tactics out in front of my customers without the geographic boundary? So what we did was we came up with a platform that we call vParty. We had a really hard time with the name, but we're embracing it. It stands for virtual party. But the idea is it looks a lot like Google Hangouts. So when you're on, you can see the boutique owner. You can see all of the other guests that have attended. You can see up to 10 people at a time. And the boutique owner can see, but nobody else can see, that there's cliff notes on how to hold a party. And then there's a slide deck. You can literally upload outfits and accessorize them together. Your friends can accessorize them. And then everyone rates everyone's choices, and somebody is chosen as sort of like the master stylist. And it's fun, and people party. They bring a glass of wine to the occasion. And we want them to drink at their computers and have this party, right? But we've had a lot of challenges. There were a lot of challenges with the video, with the voiceover. If people didn't have their audio on, or if people had a machine from the 1900s, or there were all sorts of issues that we had to work through. And initially we wanted it to launch a full year before, but what you have to do is just continue to tirelessly beta test until you really get the product right, until you see it being used in the way it may not be in the way that you initially anticipated that people would use it, but in that beta testing, you can find so many different use cases. Like we were like, okay, they're literally, before we had the outfit upload functionality, we saw that women were literally going to their closets and saying, oh my God, I love that necklace. That would go so well with this dress that I'm wearing on Friday night. And they would go to their closet, grab the dress, bring it to the screen, and show the other people who are on the party. And so we're like, well, why can't you just upload an outfit? Like, so little things came out of that, and you really have to see there's what you assume how people are going to use it. All those assumptions are valid, but they're worth nothing if that's not how people use it. And if it's you may set out to solve one market need and find out that you've solved a completely different one, and then you have to kind of assess, what is the value of the product now versus what it was initially, and hopefully it's worth more. And then develop. So it's kind of, a balancing act between the customer feedback and what the problem you're out to solve. Did I answer your question? Yeah. Okay.
So, like I'm sure all of you guys, we have lots of challenges in our business. And while I agreed with everything that Sucharita said about mobile, at the same time, that's been a big focus area for us of late, and a lot because, very important to our customers. They're seeing huge traffic, particularly in Europe. A lot of our European customers are saying that half of their traffic now is coming from mobile devices, and that's, of course, both tablets and phones. But there's some real tough challenges for what we do in the mobile environment. In iOS, for example, you can't access the microphone from the browser. There's, as I mentioned, not a lot of convergence around standards for web audio and for video and so on. And so we've made great progress, and we have some great solutions in that way, but still a lot of work to do. But the place that's maybe the biggest challenge for us right now is the fact that what we're doing is very much a new category. And so even questions around, what do you call it? How do you talk about it? Is it assisted selling? Is it live customer engagement? Is it live, what is it? And those, honestly, still things that we're wrestling with a little bit, and the way that we've tried to overcome it is really by focusing on the value proposition. We have great metrics that we can show our customers in terms of the way that we're impacting performance on our clients' websites, and then we also try to make it very easy for people to get up and running and to prove out for themselves, the ROI in what we do. So.
Great. So I'd also just love to hear a little bit about acquiring customers and what you found to be the most useful methods for acquiring customers. We just heard a lot about social media, but how much do you rely on the various different options that are out there, and yeah.
Our first tactic was, we made the app, everyone's going to want this, right? And we just like each individually like tweeted, everyone's going to download this, and it doesn't work like that, it turns out. So our strategy was, and it's different for everyone, but our strategy focuses a lot around like finding ways to get into the press, get into the media. Our story and like what we do is sort of interesting to the point that, that's a big part of our strategy. But then after that, it's all about sort of customer engagement. Making the experience unbelievable as a small company is sort of something that's more important than any other marketing strategy you can really employ. It's almost those two, like find interesting ways to make people talk about you like in the public and make your experience so incredible that people talk about it. Those are free and awesome ways to engage more people than you can imagine. So that's kind of been our strategy so far.
So we have a freemium offering. So customer acquisition is actually one of these areas where it's like we can acquire so many people. We've acquired 150,000 boutique owners already. Our challenge is not acquisition, it's conversion from free to monetized. So in terms of where we acquire customers, we have this, initially we set out to create an e-commerce vehicle for the most part to solve this direct selling issue. And so you can set up your boutique, you connect to Facebook, you set up an email list, and then you market to your customer base. But when we decided to develop vParty and really go after sort of power sellers and MLM, we have this sort of dichotomy of who we're acquiring, and different people are going to use the product in really different ways. So we've been sort of wrestling with this issue of, do we acquire through two channels, two acquisition streams? It felt too fragmented. But initially, when we went out and started acquiring customers, we went with this work from home messaging, and we would put it out through ad networks, SEM, Facebook, the typical kind of things, partner email marketing, doing a lot of partnerships. You name it. All of the standard online advertising things we've done. And we've even done some sort of more guerrilla things where we identify people who we think would be really good sellers, and then we set up campaigns where we go after those particular people. We experimented with the hauler community. I don't know if you guys are familiar with haulers. Some people, depending on the industry, I'm sure you are, right? Okay. So hauling is when you get on YouTube. Or actually, so there are people out there who are like YouTube celebrities, and they're called haulers. And what they do is they get in front of their, their camera on their computer, and they're like, "I just went shopping. You're not going to believe what I bought. Check out the top, check out the bottom, check out the skirt and the jewelry, and I got this here and I got that there." And suddenly, if they're very charismatic and they have a good social following, they haul. They put out haul upon haul upon haul until all of a sudden they have 500,000 views per haul. It doesn't work like that for everyone, but for the ones who it does work for, they get to establish these incredible relationships with brands where they're mini celebrities. So people are sending them stuff for free, saying, "Please include me in your haul. Just make sure you put these direct trackable links at the bottom." And when I was at Karmaloop prior to Kitsy Lane and ran marketing for Plunder, which is a flash sale site, and we were able to blow the lid off with hauling. It was crazy. But it was so interesting to see how that didn't translate for this brand. And one of the reasons why was, with Kitsy Lane, we do sell some branded goods, but because it's direct selling and because you're playing this margin game, instead of, having a wholesaler middleman or having a brick and mortar shop, the person who's distributing your goods is the boutique owner. And so they're making a commission or a cut of any given sale that they're making. And so in order to be able to have good quality, high quality goods and meet all of those needs, you need to be manufacturing your own goods. But the problem is, if you have a new brand that you're launching, it's a tricky thing, because people really, on e-commerce, there's this issue of branded versus unbranded. It's much easier to sell branded goods in e-commerce. So the hauler thing didn't really resonate there. I'm kind of getting off topic. But, so for us, the issue hasn't necessarily been customer acquisition. We can acquire them. It resonates with women. Work from home, sell jewelry. It's awesome. The CPAs are ridiculously low. I've never seen such a low CPA anywhere. But it's really not the CPA that's important. It's the cost of an acquired customer, meaning a monetized customer. And so that's the trickier part, is the conversion flow that comes in after the customer acquisition.
So ours obviously is sort of a different story from a customer acquisition standpoint. And, and honestly, it's very, very early days for us right now. And as I was mentioning before, a lot of it is about really honing our messaging and getting people to understand what it is that we do, how it's different. I think, again, we're lucky we have lots of great customer stories that we can speak to, but we're still, it's just, early days and kind of pulling together the great case studies and the great metrics on that and getting the word out and, building the right lead gen process around that to try and drive folks to our site to be able to build brand awareness. We're also huge believers in talent, and we've been building just a fantastic team on the sales and marketing side. People that we think are truly stars from companies like LivePerson, which is one of our bigger competitors, from ATG, from Google, and these are folks that know our space, that have great relationships in e-commerce, and have been really helpful for us in getting out to some early customers. But again, we're still figuring it out.
So beauty junkies are sort of a specific breed. And when I think about our marketing, we always sort of go back to marketing 101, which is know your customer. And beauty junkies are just rabid online. They are the haulers for sure. And I think, I don't know this for sure, but I think beauty is one of the top YouTube categories. It is so easy to get sucked into the channel to sort of think about, oh my God, why isn't Facebook working for me? It works for everybody else. Or why, like, I'm tweeting 65,000 times a day and I'm getting nothing from it. And I think you have to really kind of get into the mind of your consumer and think about, where are they shopping? I mean, it's just like offline. It's where do they spend their time? What blogs are they reading? What videos are they watching? And beauty junkies, they're the women who sit there trying to put on their smoky eye watching a video on their phone, so on YouTube. So for us, I mean, we've tried a bunch of different things. We've only been at it for a few months, but the one tactic that's really worked for us is the vlogger community, the sort of YouTube community. And what we do is we basically kind of tie together a specific brand that we're launching on the site that day with vloggers who we know will love that brand and will sort of publicize the crap out of it. But the brand has to be demonstrable. So it can't be like skin cream, because you put skin cream on and you don't really see it. It's got to be nail polish or some sort of color cosmetics for it to work. But when you sort of hit the right brand and the right vloggers, and the vlogger, I mean, literally we ran a vlogger campaign where one vlogger was talking to her 3-year-old pooping on the potty during the video, and we got tons and tons of sales off of it. And the brand's emailing me, asking me to see the video, and I'm like, no. But when you hit the right vlogger who's got that audience, and these are not huge vloggers. I mean, these are like 1 million views kind of vloggers. It really can convert those, and we are the trackable links at the bottom. It really can convert those viewers to members, and for us to customers. So for us, it's really about like knowing your customer, where does she shop, and just doubling down on things that are working. And that's where we are so far after 2 months.
Thanks. How does data inform what you're doing, and how do you adjust things along the way based on the data that you're getting in?
I mean, this is something we're like just sort of getting into, right? Like as a super young company, data is informing a lot of our like capacity and operational constraints right now, not so much on the marketing side yet, which is kind of the next phase of what we're doing. Yeah, so I mean, it's everything, right? Like that's why you're in e-com. Like right now, you can pick up the phone and call a liquor store; they'll deliver something to you. That happens, but we're able to track how long did it take you, did the person like you, what was the feedback, etc. So it's enormous for informing how we deal with our operational and sort of capacity liquor store things. We're bringing data to this liquor industry that's just, I mean, you guys all, it's ancient, right? Like completely uninformed by data. So that's like what we are as a company, is a data and logistics analytics company at the end of the day. So it's everything, to put it bluntly.
I would agree. Data drives pretty much every decision we make. I mean, the initial, when you first put something out, you don't know how people are going to respond. It can't drive those decisions. Those are all assumptions. But as soon as you've got some interaction, that data is key, because if you don't use it, that's the whole point of switching from brick and mortar to e-commerce. Think about all of the interactions somebody has in a brick and mortar store that aren't tracked and analyzed. Imagine how much more effective it would all be. At the end of the day, relevancy drives sales. If someone is, so our particular category within direct sales is jewelry, costume jewelry. If we know who buys necklaces, who buys blue necklaces, who buys things with gemstones. If you can segment your message, if you can hit people with loyalty messages, within a certain interval of when they've purchased, if you can find that they have a particular magic price point, you just take those pieces of data and you drill down and you just, hone in on that target, man. It's crazy. I couldn't even imagine having a brick and mortar store, going into a business where I had to rent space and hire employees to, man the cash register and help people try things. It just seems so crazy when you have this huge data strategic advantage. I guess the brick and mortar store could be completely revolutionized by video footage that tracked your every move. That would be pretty interesting. But without that, you're operating blind. So, I'm going to echo data is everything, I guess.
So again, I guess we're a little bit different animal with this, but for me, I think at the end of the day, big data is very much about just listening to your customer, and so for us, it happens. It's more of a small data problem in a sense. We work very closely with our customers. We're always very committed to being their best vendor, and I think that's what's allowed us to win some of the larger RFPs that we've won with the Vodafones and the Toyotas and others in competing against much larger companies. But it's absolutely those customer interactions and the customer feedback that informs everything we do with our product. On the flip side, it is very important, and I think this is, in terms of the space that we're in, one of the things that differentiates us is that we have a very rich reporting and analytics back end, and something that allows customers to track every aspect of a customer session, of a customer engagement, of operator performance, et cetera. And then on top of that, making it easy for our customers to wrap what we do in their larger CRM platform and in their A/B testing framework and in their CMS and so on.
So we're a little bit of a different animal as well, in that we have 6 people, and I would say probably 2 of those people, which is me and my co-founder, would actually analyze the data. So for us, it's about what is the most critical data to look at. We literally started with some of the most sophisticated analytics and tracking tools out there. So we have RJ Metrics, we have Optimizely, we have a bunch of these tools, and quite honestly, we do not have the resources to track that stuff. And I'm a management consultant by training, and I would love to sit there and analyze data all day, literally love it. But it is just way too much. It's overwhelming. And so we're actually in the process of kind of skinning down what we look at, because for us, it's not about eking out another 0.5%. For us, it's like going from 1 to 2%. And for us, that's about launching a mobile offering. Like, it's sort of big, huge things that that need to drive that versus tweaking around the edges. And it's just because we're so new and we have just a very basic site out there right now. And so I think it totally depends on your stage and your resources as well. But yeah, I love data, and I probably look at 5 metrics every day just to be able to make sure that things are working. I can charge credit cards, which is a basic one. And just things like average order value and conversion, and just very bounce rate, basic high level things at my stage.
So everyone's pretty early. As we've heard, but as personalization becomes sort of more used out there, I don't know how much you are thinking about personalization or already doing any of it, or whether that kind of thing applies to what your business is. But I'd love to hear. It's a big thing in e-commerce, so I just would love to hear if you're doing anything with it, or if you see in the future that at some point you're going to be doing more personalization.
That's sort of, for us, that's our, kind of our core value proposition in a sense. And, but of course we do it very differently. But, I think for me, one of the most compelling things about what we do is, we'll look at some of our clients and we'll see that in store they're going to be converting, 30, 40% of people that walk in the door. And those same customers will be converting 2 or 3% of the people that hit their website. And, and it may never be the case that we're converting at the same level online as we are. And there are lots of good reasons for it. But at the same time, we believe that, again, a lot of the reason that people can convert so well in store is that you can deliver that very personalized experience, answer customer questions in real time, walk them to the product, show them exactly the product information that they're looking for, speak to them about policies, walk them through checkout, help them fill out forms, help them complete their order, and help them very quickly overcome all the reasons, the million reasons that 75% of shopping carts abandon. So, for us, again, it's really just very core to what our value proposition's all about.
Yeah, personalization is very important for our business as well, because a lot of our marketing is email marketing, and there's nothing more frustrating than getting an email that's not relevant to you. And so what we're driving towards is being able to say, you came on the site, you checked out all this great lipstick and body cream and whatnot. And we know, based on your behavior and based on some of the things that you've told us, that you would really love these 2 brands that we have launching today. Here's the full list, but we think you'd like these 2. And so it's almost a minimum requirement in our business, in sort of the beauty space, to be able to deliver that level of customization or personalization. And then beyond that, we have additional plans in the future, but it is very core.
I would say that for us, the personalization aspect is, the nature of direct selling is personalization, right? Your friend becomes a rep for some companies, Stella & Dot, Leah Sophia, and they're able to sell to you much more effectively because they know how you dress, they know how many kids you have, they know, where you went to school and where you live, and they're able to call you up and say, hey, Debbie, how are the kids? How was soccer practice? By the way, I have this amazing new necklace for you. So every email that we send, so when a boutique owner registers their boutique and adds their customer list, every email that is sent to their customer comes from them. It does not come from Kitsy Lane. So, if the boutique owner's name is Sue Adams, it comes from Sue Adams. That's the from line. She has a name. She names her boutique. Her picture's in the top left-hand corner of every email. And the whole experience is really personalized. They're actually able to come on and change. They're able to customize their boutique completely from the ground up, change the colors, change the background photos, put up, they have a profile photo, but they can also put up full backsplashes and completely change and create their own boutique brand. And so when their customers are shopping with them, they're doing it to support their friend. And that's really the beauty of direct selling, is that there's all of this social pressure. And right now, what we have publicly facing is our e-commerce experience, where the boutique owner comes on, creates their boutique, their customers register, and then they get email marketing. They can, they're getting fed marketing through the Facebook API, all sorts of sort of direct channels. But when it switches, and we, go more towards this V-party universe where they're having a virtual party online, and you can see your friend right there, and she's, holding up the actual jewelry on camera, and displaying it and showing how she would wear it, and you can actually upload your own outfit. The reason all of that works so well is because it's hyper personalization. So it's beyond relevancy. Relevancy is just scratching the surface. Relationships is really where you get the big win. So, that's the reason salespeople are so effective. They establish these really killer relationships. And what's nice about direct selling in an e-commerce environment is that it allows you to marry marketing and the sales relationship all in one. And that's really why we went after it. So that's a pretty key question for us.
Yeah, so personalization data, it's all sort of this similar same thing, and it's why you start an e-commerce company, right? And it's why e-commerce companies make sense not only for the consumer and your direct supplier, like in our case, your liquor stores, but then we're connecting that across distributors, brands, et cetera, data they've never seen before to allow them to, personalize the experience a bit for our customers, right? And that's, it's personalization that's how you make money in this industry, frankly. That's everything. So, yeah.
Are there any audience questions? I don't even know how we're doing that.
His question was, can we deliver after hours? Hilarious, because it's like the #1 question that everybody has, right? Like, cool, but can I get beer at 2 a.m.? So no, we work with local liquor stores who have licenses, and they're under mass law, which is you have to close at 11 o'clock. So, sorry. Question was, have we marketed at AA meetings? The answer is no.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.